we implemented what we called a ski guarantee. Ski the ski 3 times. You don't like it, bring it back for a brand new pair and keep bringing it back until we get it right. So, my employees and my managers thought I was out of my mind because a ski depreciates dramatically when you start skiing on it. But their mindset was thousands of pair of skis were going to come back and that we'd lose a ton of money. My mindset was that, number one, I knew my competitors wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And two, the customer just wanted a great ski experience. They weren't looking to pull one over on the retailer. So the first year we implemented, we sold 8,000 pair of skis, a 25% increase from the previous year. Only 8 came back.
Mm-hmm.
The next year we sold 11,000 pair, only 14 came back. So, people have this image of business owners have this image of all of this, how they're going to lose a ton of money if they implement any kind of risk reversal. That's not the case.
Welcome to the Grow and Learn podcast, your go-to source for expertise and insights on a variety of topics: business growth, leadership, technology, personal and business finance, and more. We've curated a vast network of business experts ready to address your company's most pressing challenges. From corporate growth strategy to leadership, marketing strategy, sales strategy, branding, customer relations, technology, AI, IT security, and beyond, we connect you to the best experts for your needs. Reach out to us for more information or schedule a call at grownlearn.org to explore how we can support you. Welcome back to Grow and Learn, everyone. Welcome to everybody who's joined us for the first time. Today, I'm speaking to the CFO of Next Step CFO, Michael Barbarita, with an expansive and extensive experience of more than 40 years in growing companies in the millions within 5 years, with a 9-figure exit. Let me check if I'm correct. Correct, 9-figure exit. That's impressive. Commercial and residential real estate investor, award-winning public speaker, published co-author. I'm very pleased to be joined today by Michael. Hi, Michael. Welcome.
Hi, Zarina. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for joining me. Such an impressive background, Michael, and the wealth of experience. Is this your last book on your background? Powerful business?
Yes, it is. And what happens is we keep writing additional editions of our book because business is always changing. And we don't sell the book. We actually give it away on our website, nextstepcfo.net. And so because it's kind of our contribution to the business world. And the reason why I actually wrote the book is because the CFO today has to be more strategic. So if you look at all the Fortune 500 CFOs, they're all strategic or they don't get the job. But fractional CFOs never really aren't held to that standard. They're just primarily numbers people. But we get right into, in addition to business and cash flow forecasting, solving cash flow problems, identifying the critical metrics of the business. We also get involved in the strategic side, the business strategy. And actually, that's what I'd like to talk about today. And, just a couple of the business strategies that we help business owners implement. We're about implementation, not about just learning. And so one of the strategies go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say that with the same question, one of your strategies is the conversion formula. Is this something that you used in growing the businesses before, and then you implemented it in the Next CFO group?
Yes, it was. So in the previous businesses I owned, I did utilize the conversion formula. So the conversion formula is the purpose of the conversion formula is to convert prospects into customers. And there are 4 components of the conversion formula, and they need to be done in the exact order. Otherwise, the formula falls apart. It doesn't work. I see a lot of business owners doing the formula almost in reverse, and obviously it's not going to work. It's going to be done in the exact order as I state. So the first component, the first step in the conversion formula is what we call captivate. It's a headline that identifies the problem the customer has and doesn't want. And then the second step of the conversion formula is called fascinate. And what that is it's the unique solution to the problem that the customer can't find. And so the captivate and fascinate are the emotional triggers in the conversion formula because they identify the problem and they offer up the solution. And if these first two components aren't done correctly, once again, the formula falls apart. And we have a special name for these first two components. We call it the position of market dominance, because once again, you don't get those first two components right, the formula falls apart. The third component of the conversion formula, the third step, is what we call educate. Now that you've captivated and fascinated the prospect with the problem and the solution, the emotional triggers, you now can talk about the logical component, which is the educate, which goes into more detail of how you go about solving that problem. And then you present the offer. That's the fourth step, the close or the offer, which has to be compelling. And I'll get to my five components to a compelling offer in a moment. But most people do is they start with the educate when they're presenting an offer. That, once again, you have to follow the conversion formula in the right order. Captivate, fascinate, educate, and close. Educate's the third step. A lot of people lead off with the educate because they feel that their customer doesn't really understand their product or service. Mm-hmm. And it really isn't very compelling. So one of the things that I'd like to do now is just go over the 5 components of a compelling offer, because I don't want to leave the audience hanging, because anybody can say, make the offer compelling, but here are the 5 components where you should utilize one or more of these 5 components in any offer. Okay, one or more of these.
May I interrupt you for just a second?
Sure.
Just to make sure that we don't just jump over, important points. So although your company is called Next CFO,
Next Step CFO.
Next Step CFO, you're actually integrating marketing and strategy in your work. So this means it's like a business development and revenue generation aspect backed up by the financial aspect of the CFO work.
That's correct. And that's because that if you look at every Fortune 500 CFO, they're all strategic. They all understand and can communicate business and help their CEO implement business and financial strategies. And I believe that our business and financial strategies is something that your competitors are not doing. And so these, like, for example, the conversion formula, that's something that I believe that most people don't utilize. And so if you utilize it, you'll stand out in your industry and in your market.
And in reference to your latest book that people can download for free, as you mentioned, at nextstepcfo.net, does your book contain all the conversion formula and the 5 components of the compelling offer?
Yes, it does.
Yes, fantastic. Yeah. Okay.
And so those 5 components, once again, not once again, but to tell you what the 5 components, and you should incorporate one or more of these components. The first is scarcity and urgency. So scarcity is there's only 3 left. Urgency is this offer ends on Tuesday. So you have to incorporate a deadline or some type of scarcity. I only have 5 spots. I only have 10 units left. That is scarcity. When I was in the ski business, our scarcity and urgency was we only had 4-day sales. So from Thursday to Sunday, otherwise kaput, it's gone forever. And we would do a ton of volume in those 4 days because of the urgency of that short time frame, as well as the scarcity of the inventory that was available. So we were able to really generate some real powerful business in a short period of time. The second is a risk reversal. So a risk reversal is when the seller in the transaction takes most or all the risk. And so when I was, once again, back in the ski business, we did what we call the ski guarantee, because the problem the customer had with the ski industry is they never really knew if the ski they were being sold was the right ski for them until they got it up in the mountain and tried it out. So we implemented what we call the ski guarantee. Ski the ski 3 times. You don't like it, bring it back for a brand new pair and keep bringing it back until we get it right. So, my employees and my managers thought I was out of my mind because a ski depreciates dramatically when you start skiing on it. But their mindset was thousands of pair of skis were going to come back and that we'd lose a ton of money. My mindset was that, number one, I knew my competitors wouldn't do it. And two, the customer just wanted a great ski experience. They weren't looking to pull one over on the retailer. So the first year we implemented, we sold 8,000 pair of skis, a 25% increase from the previous year. Only 8 came back. The next year we sold 11,000 pair, only 14 came back. So, that people have this image of business owners have this image of all of this, how they're going to lose a ton of money if they implement any kind of risk reversal. That's not the case. So the third component is adding more value to your product or service. When I was in the frozen cookie dough business, one of the things that I did to add more value, the problem that the customer had in the frozen cookie dough industry is they didn't want to waste valuable oven space baking cookies. So if you're a pizza parlor, you're not going to, you're more focused on the pizza than you are things like cookies. So what we did with every opening order, and because we understood the long-term value of a customer, that's a very important metric to know, the long-term value of the customer. Because we understood the long-term value of a customer, we could give away a free convection oven with every opening order. Now, I would lose money because the convection oven the price of that far outweighed their opening order in most cases. But I knew the long-term value of a customer, and I believed in my product. So I knew that the customer would reorder and reorder and reorder because it was a good product. And that's what happened. So, but we added more value to our product by adding that convection oven. So adding more value to your product or service is the third component. The fourth component is packaging and bundling products together. Once again, when I was in the ski business, all my competitors, every ski, and it's still today, every ski shop in America has what's called a package. Skis, boots, bindings and poles, or just skis, bindings and poles. And so what we did is, in addition to bundling skis, bindings and poles, what we did is we also bundled clothing. So we took the most popular ski brands that we were selling, and we took those cosmetics and we matched it up with a Parker pant, sweater, and hat combination that matched those skis. Okay, the coloration matched the ski. And go ahead.
No, I was just wondering because there are some coaches and consultants that actually claim that bundling reduces the perceived value of your offering.
Well,
does what you're saying for bundling and packaging apply to all across all industries, or is it specifically where you packaging and bundling products?
That's what our research shows. And because packaging and bundling, it gives this perception of value. It's all about value. So,
but is it also for services?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bundle CFO services with strategic business implementation. So that it works in my research and in my experience. It works very well. It's once again a component of a compelling offer. And like I said, you could use one or more of these combined, these offers. Now the fifth one is being indifferent to the outcome. Now, okay, so you've got to detach yourself from the sale. Otherwise, the customer is going to pick up on it, or the prospect is going to pick up on it, and they don't. They just think you're out for them, out for yourself instead of them. Instead of being on the same side of the table, you're on opposite sides of the table. And a quick example is, whether you work with me or someone else, there are 5 steps that you must take in order to properly implement a risk reversal strategy. It's an example. So, and then I would go through those 5 steps. But notice I said whether you work with me or someone else, that's indifferent. It's that type of commentary makes it indifferent.
And
so
would you,
yeah.
when you, I have a question here. I'm taking notes
as
a good learner. So when you're applying all of these strategies and you have only, as you said, a period of 4 days for the promotion period in the case of the skiing equipment where you that you were managing this company, would you then how would you go about promoting this offer using this model? Would you do it like in one emailing, you would follow all the steps, or in one post, or how do you recommend?
Okay, well, first of all, I'm old, okay? And so back in the 80s when I owned the ski business, there was no email. So it was direct mail, radio, and newspaper. And we used the conversion formula in all 3 of those media. And
in one session.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we let all the guns blaze because and you know, that takes guts to blast everything out like that. I mean, we probably spent somewhere between, at the time, you know, in $1985, somewhere between $50,000 to $75,000 to promote a 4-day sale. Now, we did $1 million in the 4 days, but to promote that 4-day sale, it took a lot of firepower. So it takes a little guts to do that, but we were confident in our product. We were confident in our messaging, and it was really, really strong. And there would be other sales that we do, with 4 days that we would probably do about, 300,000 or 400,000. But it was those 4 days. It was that scarcity and urgency combined with the conversion formula. See, the conversion if you look at the way that people buy, they buy based on emotion, and then they back up that emotion logically. So if we take the conversion formula, those first 2 components, captivate and fascinate, that's the emotional component. The educate is the logical. And so if a husband bought something and he needed to explain it to his wife, he would utilize the educate in order to explain why he bought it, even though it was the emotional triggers of solving the problem and solution that got him to be interested in the first place. Because it's the educate that's the logical component part of the conversion formula. So people buy based on emotion and then back up that emotion logically. And that's why the conversion formula is so effective.
I see. And so now with your current clients, clearly there are no physical or hardly any physically sent letters, mail.
Right.
So what do you advise them to do?
Well,
how do they implement this in their social media or newsletter communication?
It can be obviously in the form of email. It can also be those traditional methods. I mean, the traditional methods still work today. I mean, you can tell from people who still use direct mail and who still use radio and newspaper. But what we found is very effective, believe it or not, is a squeeze page. It's a 1-page website that really focuses on the problem and the solution. Because I see a lot of business owners when they market, they feel like they have to get every product that they have in there, everything. You're gonna get, just in case they're gonna miss somebody. The human eye, the human being can't consume all of that information at once. So a squeeze page helps them focus on just one problem, one solution. A little video, or it could be the educate or some text, and then you have your offer, and it can be very effective. And then because buyers are on a journey all the time, one of the effective ways to use email is a drip campaign, and people know what that is for the most part. That form of automated communication. And to utilize that conversion formula in the drip campaign, we found reduces the amount of time that they're on that buyer's journey. Because the most buyers go down a journey on their way to a purchase. They don't necessarily purchase right away.
Yeah.
But still, if your offer has scarcity and urgency to it, that's how you drive that. Yeah, it's how you compress the time frame of the buyer's journey.
Yeah. So your role as a CFO, what exactly does it, as a fractional CEO, the group that you lead, what does it entail other than sharing these business strategies? Do you participate in the actual creation of the offer as well?
What we do is we guide the implementation. We have a step-by-step roadmap for each strategy in our software. We have a proprietary platform, and we have a step-by-step roadmap for each strategy. So we have a strategy for position of market dominance, which is those first two components of the conversion formula. And that's a step-by-step process. We have it all laid out.
Yeah.
And that, for example, that position of market dominance is 13 weeks, one day a week, and 13-week implementation process. And if we need to refer professionals like marketing people, we do that. We don't do the actual, like prepare the drip campaigns or,
right.
or we refer that out to professionals who do that for a living. So, but everything is mapped out on it's a roadmap. It's a step-by-step roadmap for every strategy. And we have 22 strategies in all. It's not just the position of market dominance. It's just not the conversion formula. It's not just the buyer's journey. There are multiple strategies. We have a strategy called time freedom, where we can help business owners get their time back. Because that's one of the problems. That's one of the reasons why they don't want to work with us. They don't have the time, because we require 3 to 5 hours per week of working on your business and not in it. And a lot of business owners say they don't have the time. But if they don't have the time, we go right into the implementation of that time freedom strategy.
See. Who is the typical client of yours? You mentioned business owners. Are these startups or SMEs? Yeah.
Most business owners are in either retail, manufacturing, or service companies of some at some level. That's probably it's best. We've worked with startups, but it's best that they have revenue of between 500,000 and $1.5 million. That's a sweet spot. Otherwise, if it's any lower than that, they have a hard time affording our services. So, but some still do. Some, find a way. And because, the information is very helpful, especially for a startup, who's just a business that's just starting up. A lot of business owners, they're so excited to make their impact in the world that they create this business, and then all of a sudden they're fitting their life around this business thing that they created. And so we help smooth that out, if you will, by offering this time freedom strategy that we have.
Well, can you share some exciting or noteworthy results? You've been in business since 2007. It's quite a long time.
Well, one of the things that we've done, we've helped a company sell for $123 million. That's one of the things that we started with them. It was a 10-year process, but we started with them when they were a startup.
Yeah.
So that was one success story. The other one, another one is I took over as a fractional CFO for a company that lost $250,000 in the previous 2 years. And we turned that around to a $50,000 profit. And we actually, the objective of the engagement was to sell the business.
Yeah.
So it's hard to sell a business that's losing $250,000. This was a business in the trades. Really hard to do. But what we ended up doing is we turned it around. We had a $50,000 profit, and then we were able to create a story to be able to sell that business at, I think the final price was $750,000. When you think of a $50,000 profit generating a $750,000 selling price, that's quite a
an achievement. Yeah.
And we did sell it to a strategic buyer.
Mm-hmm. I read somewhere that you have a software that does something related to M&A. Am I wrong?
Yeah, not related to M&A. We have that proprietary platform that is that step-by-step roadmap for each of our strategies. That's probably what you're referencing.
Yes.
But not specifically for M&A. We help businesses buy and sell. We've done that for years. And I've done it with my own businesses. So we help business owners in that area as well. But that's our CFO side.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, and there's something else that you wanted to talk about, which was the I hope so market. What is this all about?
Yes. So I hope so. See, what I find and what I found in my research is that business owners use jargon like largest selection, lowest prices, most professional, highest quality, in business for 10 years, 50 years, 150 years. And what the customer is saying to themselves when you use that kind of jargon is, I hope so. I hope you're most professional. I don't want to deal with a company that's not professional. I hope you have high quality. I don't want to deal with a company that has low quality. I hope you're honest. I don't want to deal with somebody who's dishonest. So, but business owners have a tendency to use I hope so marketing. And that's exactly what their competition is doing, number one. Number two, the customer is saying, I hope so. Tell me something that inspires me to buy. And that's what the conversion formula does. See, the conversion formula is strategic messaging. I hope so marketing is not strategic messaging. Okay, it's jargon. So that's yeah.
And so you would suggest that companies convert the I hope so market to the conversion formula messaging.
Correct. Absolutely. That's right. Yeah. The conversion formula.
Fantastic.
And we all, if there is more time, I'd just like to go over one other thing. So we have one of the strategies that we have is what we call the 7-step pathway to profit formula. Serena, are you familiar with the 80-20 rule? It's the Pareto principle. Yeah.
In operations.
Right. So in business, most business owners look at the 80-20 rule, and they're not wrong. No one's wrong about the 80-20 rule. But how they look at the 80-20 rule is that 80% of their business is driven by 20% of their customers. What we did with the 80-20 rule in our book is we said, what 20% of the activities, what activities that make up 20% of what people do every day drive 80% of the revenue? And what we did is we narrowed it down into 7 steps, what we call the 7-step pathway to profit formula, that if a business owner takes 20% of their day and focuses on these 7 steps, they're going to drive 80% of their revenue. And so those steps
I want to hear that.
Those steps are how do I find higher quality leads? Second is how do I convert those leads into my sales process, whatever that is. It could be a funnel, it could be a presentation, a meeting, whatever it is. An estimate if you're in the trades. Third, what are my closing rates? So what are my closing rates to convert that prospect into a customer? Fourth, a highly neglected area, client retention. How do I keep customers? So a lot of business owners think that once they get a customer, they get to keep them by default. That's not what happens. You have to actually work on client retention. Fifth is average dollar per sale. How do I increase my average dollar per sale without losing any customers? Sixth is frequency of sale. How do I get my customers to buy more often? And then seventh is costs. We have to control our costs, both fixed costs, which is like rent and insurance, or variable costs, which is costs associated with the production or delivery of product or service. So those are the 7 steps: leads, conversions, closing rates, client retention, average dollar per sale, frequency of sale, and cost control. And that's that 20% that you need to focus on that drives 80% of your volume.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is this described in terms of guidelines in the book?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Because I would really like to know how to convert, for example. So I'm going to read your book.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you.
Okay, fantastic, Michael. Anything else you'd like to share?
I think that's about it. I think that's all I've got today.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all of these nuggets. I am actually fascinated that you called the company next level. Was it next level?
Next Step CFO. Yeah, the reason
CFO.
why I did is because one of the businesses I owned, I fell on my face. Okay, and one of the hardest steps to take in life, once you fall on your face, is the step after the fall, the next step. And so after I fell on my face in a medical business that I owned, I started Next Step CFO. And so that, because the toughest step to take in life is the step after the fall. And so that's why I named it that and started
I understand. No, I was referring more to the CFO part because all the guidance that you shared is really more on the strategy and business development part rather than the CFO. That's why I was surprised.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, that's what my book's about also. But, the reason why I do that is because most CFOs are not strategic, or most fractional CFOs are not strategic.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, I do a business and cash flow forecasting. I solve cash flow problems. I identify the critical metrics of the business. I help with exits. I help get bank loans. So all of that financial stuff, that's what we do. That's what we've done for the last 17, 18 years that we've been in business. But it's that strategic part that once you have your financial house in order, now what?
Yeah.
And
and
we help business owners implement business and financial strategies that their competition isn't doing. All these strategies that I talked about today, it's very unlikely that the competitors are doing it.
Yes, I haven't observed it until now. Usually they keep to their functional area of expertise.
Right, and they do, I hope so, marketing.
You're right. I've actually heard quite a few. I'm about to change one of my taglines because it seemed like I hope so marketing, but thank you for this advice. Yes, you're right. And even revenue coaches and sales coaches advise for some taglines that lean towards I hope so marketing.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It was very useful. I'm going to download your book from
nextstepcfo.net. nextstepcfo.net.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, Serena. Thank you very much for having me.
My pleasure.
Thank you for listening to Grow and Learn. We hope that you found our podcast informative, engaging, and inspiring. Our mission is to help you keep growing and learning, and we hope that our conversations and insights have provided you with practical advice and useful perspectives. If you're looking for personalized support and guidance to help you achieve your personal or professional growth objectives, I offer a range of services to help. As a trusted management partner and mentor, I work with businesses in the process of transformation, looking for new streams of business, as well as M&A. With an extensive professional network of experts and mentors, I can bring on board the right person or team based on the specific needs of the company I'm working with. To learn more about the services I offer and how I can help you achieve your goals, visit my website at grownlearn.org. You can also reach out to me via email or social media. I'd love to hear from you. And if you enjoyed this episode of Grow and Learn, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback is important to us, and it helps us to continue to create content that is relevant and valuable to our listeners. Thanks again for listening, and we look forward to sharing more insights and perspectives with you in the future.